We have been in what is called the Holy Week this last week. It started Sunday with Palm Sunday, and we'll move into Easter. We're going to talk about that in just a moment because the Course, there's only two holidays that the Course really speaks about. It speaks about Christmas and it speaks about Easter. And I think primarily that is because those are times when we are really aware of something more than ourselves. At Christmas time, we're thinking about the birth of something. We're thinking about love coming into this world, and we're looking at it as a historical perspective, perhaps, but we're also looking at it on a spiritual perspective, much, much more, where we see it as something that can be alive in us right now. Easter's the same way. We spend a lot of time thinking about what this means as we move through these times of Maundy, Thursday, maybe starting with Ash Wednesday, and then the 40 days leading up to Easter, the period of Maundy, Thursday to Good Friday to Easter Resurrection Sunday. So there's this concept that's running through it that of triumph over what seems to be adversity. If we look at it from that perspective, this becomes a very transformative time. We are born into this experience, but triumph can occur over what seems to be adversity. And I bet you all have adversity in your life. Challenges, let's put it that way, just the slightest irritations. That's what the Course says, that those things that seem to block us, we can experience a triumph. And so these seasons, even though the Course says, this world is an illusion, it says it can use time and season for its own purpose, to help us triumph over what seems to be the limitations and the lacks in our lives and the seeming power of the ego in our lives. So this is why we take this 40-day period, starting with Ash Wednesday and moving through to the Easter season, and we do these lessons in light, because we want to take this time that has been set aside as an opportunity for us to use this material, to be concentrated on this material together in that way. And that's what we've been doing. And I'm excited how many people have been joining us from around the world on our live streaming and watching us every week. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope that after our lessons in light, you'll just continue to join us because we have a lot of fun here, right? Tell them how fun we are. We're fun. Woo! We're fun. Anyway, if you remember, we started out on Ash Wednesday with our first lesson in light, and then we move through, as we're almost to it, the 40-day period that leads up to Easter, which is in the traditional Christian holiday, the time of Lent. It's that idea of Jesus went into the wilderness and wrestled with the devil. That was the idea. Well, now it's the idea that maybe we use this period of time as a way to face the ideas of sacrifice in our life, the ideas of fear and judgments that we're holding on to. This can become a time when we allow them to be healed. So that's what these lessons in light are about, using this as a time when we are no longer going to let the illusions of the world rule us. And so we started out with that beautiful lesson, into his presence would I enter now. The idea of knowing we're always in his presence, or when we do not know it, that we can re-enter into that presence. And in those moments of renewal and refreshment, we can come back into the world, not in the same way we left it in that moment of meditation. We come back, as the Course would say, with a touch of heaven upon our minds and in our hearts, and that we can become these bringers of this truth. So that was the first week. The second week that followed up on that was light and joy and peace abide in me. My sinlessness is guaranteed by God. The only way we can know the presence of God is when we know who and what we are, that we are light, that we are joy, and that we are peace. And that as we know that, and as we extend that, it becomes stronger within us. So that's an important lesson to remember for ourselves. The third week followed in a very important way because it says, God is the love in which I forgive. That's an important concept for us. How do we know we're in his presence? How do we feel this joy? Because a lot of times we don't. What is it that causes us not to feel it? The Course would say it's our own unforgiving thoughts. And so it's easy to get caught up in anger and judgment. Just look at the political season. Just look at what's going on, what happened in Brussels. The terrorist attack yet again. It's easy to get angry and to be condemning. But what this says is forgiveness is the key to our happiness. Forgiveness is what transcends this world. But how do we get there when we are so locked in our judgments? And that's why it says it is through God's love that we forgive, not through our own limited trying, but through the love of God within us. It is so much more powerful than our trying to do it all the time, ourselves, alone. And so it says, God is the love in which I forgive. Now it says that God has never condemned us. Therefore, he has never forgiven us, because there has to be condemnation before forgiveness is necessary. But it says that nevertheless, he does not forgive. His love becomes the basis for us to forgive. When it seems impossible for you to forgive, you are asked to simply step back and let a power greater than yourself work through you. And that's why that lesson is so powerful. When you have trouble, you must allow his love to work through you. You must have faith that his love is stronger than what you know. Okay, so God is the love in which I forgive. That was the third week, then followed by the fourth week when we say love holds no grievances. Now, that's a great one too, because what that's telling us is if we hold grievances, we do not know who we are. We've lost the fact that we are in his presence, that light and joy and peace abide in us. We've lost the power of love to help us forgive because we do not know who we are. We feel alone and isolated. The moment we hold on to a grievance, we lose it all. Wow. How many times do we hold on to those grievances? How many times do we feel justified holding on to them? Now, when we say to release our grievances, it does not mean that we let anyone off the hook. We talked about this last week, because forgiveness sometimes seems like we're condoning an action. But remember, forgiveness is an awareness, not an action. It's an awareness. It's shifting our mind to the truth of what abides within us. It has nothing to do with what we might do in this world. So when people say to me, well, what would you do if somebody broke the law? Well, I don't know. I don't administer the law. But I do know that I need to hold the truth for that person, that they are calling out for love, and that love is the answer to hold for them. Now, it may mean that they're locked up in jail because they have a consequence to their action within this experience of the world. But we do not have to condemn them at the moment that we administer, say, a consequence. So love holds no grievances, recognizing that our judgments towards others lock us away from our potential, our answer, the healing truth within us now. That was the fourth week. Then the fifth week was, I could see peace instead of this. And didn't we need one like that? With all that has been going on in, again, the political campaigns and certainly with the world, that was a powerful one because we do not understand. I don't know about you, but I don't understand the intricacies of terrorism. I don't understand the intricacies of how to deal with it, but I do know that I can still my mind. I do know that I can call upon a power that is within me, but not necessarily me. Not necessarily of me. It is the truth that abides within me that my little ego self does not understand. And I call upon that when I say, I could see peace instead of this. That I am adding the ointment to the seeming problem instead of picking at the scab. If you pick at a scab, if you got a scab or a cut, what do? You might put some Neosporin on it. You might put a little new skin on it. You might put a little something on it. And then what are you supposed to do? Pick at it? Leave it alone. Yeah, pick it. Right. That's why. Yeah. Okay. How many scabs do you got? No. But you're told, as if you're right, your mother says to you, don't pick that. If you pick it, you'll get a what? A scar. You'll get a scar. Right. A lasting reminder of what you did. Right. So we're told not to pick at those things. We're told to put the salve on and to let it go. It's kind of like these problems in our lives. We need to say, I could see peace instead of this and allow it to heal a little bit. Yeah, allow it to heal. So that was the lesson to remind us what we can do. How can we be proactive in a world in pain and embattled? And then the sixth week, our last week, was God is the strength in which I trust. What a great lesson. Again, with all that was going on, to be able to know that there is a strength within us that is greater than the sum of our limitations, but is the truth that abides within us. That power, we're like a hologram for the truth. It is within us. The entire potential for our healing, the entire potential for this planet abides in each and every one of us. And when we become aware of this, we become mighty bringers of the truth. So that's what we're asked to do. God is the strength in which I trust. I know I can do it because the power of God abides within me. We need to have that confidence to see through the illusion to the truth.